Parkinson's Pop Profile Series. Today we have Ken Konopky here. He's originally from Rhode Island, but has been in Virginia for about 20 plus years. Worked as a loan analyst and is currently living with his wife and daughter. And he's also a person with Parkinson's. So Ken, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We're excited to jump into some of these questions that are Parkinson specific and more general, as well as some questions that tie into the times that we're living in terms of social distancing and isolation and how you've kind of waded through that as a person with Parkinson's. So if you're ready to get started, we can go ahead.
Sure, I'm ready.
Very good. So Ken, tell me when you were diagnosed with Parkinson's.
So originally I was diagnosed in January of 2017 at the age of 53.
Okay.
My symptoms actually, we believe, started in the spring of 2016. Things such as tremor, muscle rigidity, shaking, anxiety coming up. And then, went on to 2 different doctors and had 2 diagnosed, both the same thing, for Parkinson's.
Okay.
I have about a year ago, I had to stop working, and currently just spending time researching Parkinson's and getting involved in the community where I can. Amongst other things, we have a dog and, things like that.
Sure. So tell me about your process in terms of diagnosis. Did you start with your general practitioner and then kind of move to a movement specialist, neurologist? So talk me through some of those steps.
Sure. So in the spring, like I said, of 2016, I started noticing my left hand was shaking. I had a gated walk. I am a gym rat, quote unquote. So I thought perhaps I did something at the gym. I talked to the trainers there. Then people started saying things, not anything bad. They're like, "Oh, why are you shaking?" And so I kind of waited until the end of the year. I went to my regular physician. He said, "I think you might have Parkinson's," but he didn't really know.
Right.
And then I went to a regular neurologist, general neurologist, I call him. Went to him for a bit. He suggested that I might want to look at VCU Health because of the good program they had at the time, and they still have, and it's doing great. So I went to VCU Health and got a second assessment and was told I had Parkinson's.
Okay. Thank you for.
So that's kind of. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. So tell me, how has your Parkinson's diagnosis affected your career? I know you said that you ultimately stopped working. Can you walk us through that process? Upon diagnosis, did you immediately stop working, or tell us how you waded through that a tough time, imaginably?
Yeah, my former employer, who I get along with great as of today and for the rest of my days, they've been really good to me. Immediately, I went to my management and told them, "Hey, I've got Parkinson's. I don't know what it means. I was just going through it, but I want to let you guys know what's going on."
Yeah.
Soon thereafter, maybe about a year and a half later, my anxiety started going higher, and I'm an analyst, so I have to be very careful, numbers and things that I do, and ask the right questions, as well as fidgeting around in my chair, the keyboard, hitting the space bar too many times, so we kind of sat down and talked about it, and we're trying to look for some accommodations. Meanwhile, I went to I went to 3 different doctors that I deal with, one for the anxiety, one for neurology, and just my general physician, kind of get their feel on it. And of course, they have to be careful of what they say.
Of course.
But decided to take, a month off, from my job. I had plenty of vacation time, and took a month off, and then took a look at it again, took another 8 weeks off. And then it's about the middle of March, April. And then from there, we decided my doctors and I that it'd probably be best that I just leave this job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough because I worked 40 years. I'm
Yeah.
50. I was 53 at the time. I didn't start working at 13, but
Mm-hmm.
I left when I was 56,
Sure.
and I had various jobs, and I like working.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, people look at me and go, "You liked working?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. The
Yeah.
camaraderie, just everything about it. I've been very fortunate to work for some good people and
Good.
good organizations.
Yeah.
So that was a big, for me, that was a big step. Like, oh, I don't have a job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
What
that's
could
where I'm
you,
at.
I was going to say, you touched on something that was interesting and probably very helpful to others as far as being, it sounded like you had very open and good communication with your employer. So how can you help, what would be something you would say to help others meet with their boss or meet with their manager upon diagnosis?
Well,
Even.
yeah, well, I would be upfront with them and tell them what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't really want I was concerned about what's wrong with you, Ken? At
Mm-hmm.
least because I had to go talk to HR
Mm-hmm.
and they knew it, but they held it in confidence,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
it just I felt I was protected and I was being proactive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten a lot of feedback on it, more than more saying you did a great thing
Yeah.
versus, oh, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I thought through it and thought, you know what, I'm going to be open and honest with them,
Great.
and they've been good to me, and I have no complaints.
Yeah. I think, of course, it's all predicated on being an employer that is really good with that kind of stuff. But ideally, we hope that many are, and you've hopefully given a little bit of light and hope into wading those waters as far as talking to your employer. So thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Tell me, how do you explain to others what it means to have Parkinson's disease?
Well, I basically tell them, um, just give me a moment here.
You're fine. Okay.
Most, believe it or not, I'm just going to kind of start out this way. Most encounters that I have with people that don't know anything about Parkinson's, um, they often relate to, the only thing they can think of is Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hear that over and over and over, and I'm like,
So
yep, the
true.
shake and the tremor. And
Yes.
I'll say to them, do you realize there are non-motor functions as well? And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, what is
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
So I try and, depending on the audience that I'm speaking with, I do tell them that every person's experience with Parkinson's is like a snowflake.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this from a gentleman, a doctor actually, that has Parkinson's. And I was in a class with him and he
Okay.
said this, and I think it's perfect, fits right here. And I just kind of, the audience I'm with, um, I make it to their, so they'll understand it. I may say things, it's a neurodegenerative disease that affects motor and non-motor functions. And I give them some of the things that they might see, the pinky shaking, and I just give them some ideas of what it could be. Even the speech, it could be soft or slurred. But and I also tell them that, go to the websites, go to Michael J. Fox's website, the National Parkinson's Foundation. I'm actually thinking of seeing if I can get a little card that I could carry around with me, and it might give 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say, hey, I don't mean to insult you, but check this out. It tells
Yeah.
what it is. It's very simple
Mm-hmm.
and just something you can hand to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
because education is power as far as I'm concerned.
I completely agree. And hopefully through some of these pop profiles that we're doing in this series, people can learn and we can kind of change the dialogue a little bit. There's certainly motor symptoms, as we all know, but hopefully it'll change the dialogue, and then it might not look just like Michael J. Fox. It might be more of the non-motor symptoms or meaning some of the cognitive things as well. And I hope through the pop profiles and you sharing your story and some other folks that people can see, it means different things for everybody, and it doesn't just mean a significant tremor or something that's more stereotypical as we see in the news. So
Yeah,
thank you for pointing that out.
sure.
Um, so care, having a care partner or support team is certainly important to successfully managing Parkinson's disease. So can you talk to us a little bit about who your care partner is, your care team, your support team, who helps you day to day?
Yeah, so I'm a very collaborative person, anyways, in the working world. I have a wife that I've been with her 30 plus years. I don't see us ever leaving each other.
Mhm.
I have a daughter that is in her early 20s. She's excellent. So I have
Okay.
this good family around me. Most of my family lives in Rhode Island, so I
Okay.
don't see them, but my wife's family is here.
Hmm.
So they're helpful if I need things. Through my church, I have so many friends there that, can I take you here? What do you need there? Um, Also, I kind of, when I said collaborative, I've also built what I call like a professional medical staff. So I thought, once I started doing my research, I thought, well, I've got to make sure I've got the right doctors and I
Hmm.
communicate with them. So I have really good rapport with my neurologist, my pharmacist,
Hmm.
and even gym people and other people around me that I think I have a good support system.
Hmm.
Could be better, but then again, anything could be better.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to expand it and learn more from people,
Yeah.
and people have bent over backwards for me, which at first surprised me.
Mhm. It sounds like, however, you are certainly advocating to those who are listening to make those relationships, take the next step to make those really good relationships with your care team, your pharmacists, your medical providers, to take those steps to establish good relationships because you're going to have them for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And be proactive when you go into the visit with your neurologist. Have some notes.
Hmm.
Um, my neurologist will always say, "Okay, Ken, what do you got?" And
Hmm.
I could have 20 different questions, and I think to myself, "Well, I've got 5 minutes, so let me take the top three."
Yeah.
But I could email him the other questions, and he would answer them with no
Great.
hesitation.
Yeah,
So
thanks
I got
for
a good,
sharing that. I love that you said that as far as making the most of those visits and being prepared for them because
yeah,
while you have your team, you're also advocating for yourself. So
exactly.
maximizing that time.
Yeah.
I know we touched on some of the non-motor symptoms, including cognitive functioning and ability. So tell us how you stay cognitively focused and challenged with Parkinson's disease.
Well, so things that I try and do are, I call them brain exercise.
Okay.
I read, I do webinars that are all out there from, I mentioned Michael J. Fox and
Mm-hmm.
National Parkinson's. There's so much stuff out there, which
Yeah.
amazed me when I found out I had Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there's nothing out there, and it just started growing.
Yeah.
Um, I will join a study when asked, or when I want to join a study.
Okay.
Um, I've attended I've attended conferences. There was one in Williamsburg, and I look for others. I would even be willing to. There was one in Miami, and it was this spring. Obviously, that's kind of shut down.
Right.
But we were going to go for a few days and just be
Fantastic.
down there and vacation a little and go to a conference and just talk and learn and
Yeah.
keep my brain moving.
Okay.
I try and remain active in the Parkinson's community where I can. I've done some um, roundtable discussions with nursing students, pharmacy students,
Mm-hmm.
myself and four other people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gone well. And I've been asked to come back again.
Good.
We couldn't do it. It was going to be like in April, and we all know what happened there.
Right.
So, um, and that's, a bottom line again, and I'm going to say this again, knowledge is power. I
Yep.
mean, I'm not a huge reader,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sit home and watch TV all day because I'm retired. I actually watch less TV.
That's great.
So
That's great.
just trying to keep my brain busy.
Yes, that's important. So prior to COVID-19, can you explain your workout regimen when you could leave the house and have that sense of normalcy? What were you doing to stay active? And it sounds like you were a
So
gym rat. So talk to us a little bit about that.
yeah, being a gym rat, so I would go to the gym 5, 6 days a week and spend 1, 2, 3 hours there,
Okay.
just socializing. I'll admit it. Um, Working my
There's
jaw
built-in
muscles
time
as
for that. There is built-in time for that when you go to the
um,
gym.
and I had a
Feasible.
lot of contacts there and working with Parkinson's folks that understand what type of exercises we should and shouldn't be doing. So I
Hmm.
would go to the gym and kind of work on that,
Hmm.
um, and walking the dog
Hmm.
and always active, keeping my muscles going
Yeah,
as much as possible.
great.
That kind of slowed down with the COVID-19.
Yeah, you're
So
leading me right into the next question. Talk to me about how
of
you've remained
of course,
physically active.
yeah, of course I am.
You're
Um,
leading this yourself. Thank you.
so that was brutal to me when I found out the gym's done. I'm
Sure.
like, oh my gosh, because I'm
Yeah.
not working. I enjoyed going every day, so I'm like, what am I going to do?
Hmm.
And where we live, there's a gym here as well, but they closed that as well.
Hmm.
So I've been doing a lot of walking,
Yeah.
a lot of videos from Pop and VCU Health and
Good.
other places, just trying to keep myself active. I'm admitting to myself that I'm not as fit as I should be when I was at the gym,
Hmm.
but I'm slowly working up myself a little bit. I look so forward to going back to the
Hmm.
gym.
Hmm.
I was watching the governor today, and he is kind of moving things around a little bit. Phase one,
Hmm.
he's going to allow gyms to do outdoor classes.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'll probably jump in there, and I'm
Good.
hoping within the next couple of months we can go back to the gym.
Yeah.
And then we have a swimming pool here at the where I live, so
Good.
I want to keep busy.
So, COVID-19 aside, it sounds like you were highly self-motivated to go to the gym. So, what would you say to these folks who are diagnosed and are a little hesitant to go to the gym because they have Parkinson's, or they're hesitant because they've never really worked out that much, but they should because they have Parkinson's? So, what would you say to get these people, push them out in the right direction towards physical activity?
Yeah, well, I think what they need to do is say they have never gone to the gym and they want to go. They may be a little apprehensive.
Hmm.
I'm shaking, I've got a tremor,
Hmm.
whatever the case might be. For me, it really doesn't bother me.
Right.
I'll walk up to people that are tremoring and say, "Hi, I'm Ken.
Yeah.
I see you have the secret handshake," and
Hmm.
I've made a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
But the other thing that the folks could do, and what I did was went through my neurologist and said, "Hey, I need to find a physical therapist that specializes in movement disorder."
Hmm.
Because I want to do the exercises that are going to benefit me. I don't want to waste my time there.
Hmm.
And I connected with the right people, and it's ongoing. I mean, there's things that I could do better, learn more, but the exercises I'm doing are helping with my Parkinson's.
Good. Good.
They're not the opposite, things that you're doing that aren't going to help you.
Yeah. What's been the hardest part about being quarantined with Parkinson's disease?
Not being able to go where I want to go
Mhm.
and go to lunch with friends, and I've talked about the gym 1,000 times. Um, just kind of being stuck inside and like,
Mhm.
where are we going to go? We can't go to dinner.
Mhm.
Let's. Well, so we do a lot of outside walking, and we met some friends yesterday at a park. Um, just trying to things like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been kind of boring
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah. I understand that. I think we all do.
Tough for
That'll
everybody.
resonate with many folks.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
what's one thing you've done to mitigate it all, to remain positive?
Um, Probably just, when I first was diagnosed, it took me a while. I was saying to myself, okay, I'm in good health. I've missed 3 days of work in 12 years. What is this? There's no one in my family that has it.
Mm-hmm.
It just, they're saying it's environmental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I had to do some research and homework and things. And I'm just one of those people that has a positive attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I used to not have a positive attitude, but that could be another video years ago. But so I have a positive attitude, and I'm just one of those people that says I can sit here in the corner and just weep all day,
Yeah.
which is not me, or I can just go out and live my life and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing the exercises and the brain activity and all these things, my understanding is it will slow down the
Yeah.
progression of Parkinson's. So
Yeah.
when I heard that, I was like, this is me, because I'm an exerciser anyways. I
Mm-hmm.
eat well. So I'll just bump that up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because I intend to stay as, I can. We're like snowflakes. Remember I said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, maybe I'll just remain the same. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm not giving up.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what you're saying, you are the epitome of the mission of Power Over Parkinson's. As you know, you know, um, we place so much emphasis on physical activity and remaining active through the Parkinson's Activity League and having those monthly events to get people out and active. So what you're saying should resonate with folks who know our mission as far as the importance and the one and only thing that can slow the process of Parkinson's disease is staying active and working out and keeping those neurons, those connections in place as long as possible. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
Now I'm going to take you, I like to say, I like to take you to a magical world where you have a magic wand and you can wave it in terms of eliminating a Parkinson's symptom. So if you can wave a wand and have the researchers solve one symptom that is big in your world, what's one thing that you'd have those researchers
I
eliminate?
would say I name them all again, but I'd say anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
which, I had a touch of it, but it's just gotten bad. And
Mm-hmm.
people will say to me, oh, is it because you're nervous about your future? And are you depressed? And I'm not. I tell them, it's just, first of all, dopamine is in your brain.
Sure.
And I've got Parkinson's, and um, I would love to get rid of my anxiety, because it's hard for me sometimes to focus on things.
Mm-hmm.
My mind kind of wanders, where um, things that I used to do takes me, like doing my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, but it used to take me a couple hours. Now it'll take me like a week,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm kind of unsure. I'm second guessing
Right.
myself.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, so I'm on medication to cover that, but medication only goes so far. And I
Right.
use mindfulness exercises,
Okay.
if you're familiar with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, and I let my doctors know if there's anything changing, and even the foods you eat can impact
Mhm.
anxiety. If it's more
Yeah.
sugar,
Right.
if you're not eating, if you're not drinking water, there's just all kinds of stuff. But for me, I would say anxiety followed by tremor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Those
Uh,
would be my 1 and 2. And I know you said one,
that's
but
all
I'm going to
right.
drop the other one in there.
You've got the backup B answer. I like that, and I
Yeah,
actually really appreciate your first response in that some of the expectations I think for those answers are motor related symptoms. So I can appreciate you saying a non-motor symptom, and because those are just as big as the motor symptoms sometimes. So thank you for your honesty and sharing that, because I think that's a big
absolutely.
one, and I
Uh,
think it'll resonate with a lot of folks.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like I said earlier, when I have to explain to people what Parkinson's is, they only think of Michael J. Fox.
yeah, yeah.
And so I want people to know it's not just motor,
Mhm.
it's, non-motor things.
Sure, sure.
So
So tell me if you've experienced, and if so, what are they? What do you think the silver linings are of having Parkinson's in your diagnosis?
I think, I had to think about this question for a bit, but
Right.
how I can be positive with it,
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to do a study or research or help find a cure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Michael J. Fox's website. And in fact, on his website, it says, "We aspire to go out of business."
Mm-hmm. It's a
And
good line.
it's incredible, right?
Yeah.
And I've shared that with people, and I'm like, this guy wants to go out of business. So
Yeah.
what does that mean? He wants to get it solved, and we're done. There's
And
nothing
be
else to
done.
do.
Yep.
So I just want to be there to help out others that come through this process.
Yeah.
And maybe, in my lifetime, there won't be a solution to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of medications out there now. There's, I think, 13 or 14 that were approved by the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good. But if I can help push along a solution to it, then that'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody has to know me. I don't want to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hanging out,
Yeah.
and I want to. If I can help somebody, I want to do that.
Well, I think you certainly are. Certainly by sharing your story with the PAP profile, through talking with the students, it sounds like the nursing students, through talking to other people I know that you do with Parkinson's disease. So that is a good silver lining in sharing your time in helping find a cure, or just alleviating some concerns from other people with Parkinson's disease. So I think that's a great silver lining to all of this.
Yeah, even being able to help people
Yeah.
that they need to talk to someone. I
Hmm.
don't know what to do. I've got Parkinson's.
Hmm.
Some people don't, they just kind of go off and, do their own thing. There's others that may want to find someone to talk to in the
Hmm.
community
Hmm.
that they can get along with, and just one-on-one or whatever they feel comfortable with. Just knowing that there are people and there's things out in the community that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. And more to come on that, certainly, as you know, as being a
Yeah,
Power Over Parkinson's insider. And we're hoping to establish that network of a few folks who are willing to talk to the newly diagnosed. So those who are listening, more to come. And hopefully we can have a POP advisor program rolled out pretty soon. So thank you for
good.
listening on that, Ken. Well, Ken, if you are all set or don't have anything else to share, I'd like to wrap it up and simply thank you for your time.
Yeah, I think we've covered a variety of materials, and I've enjoyed it. And I look forward to, whatever else this road might take me on.
Yeah.
And just waiting for this COVID-19 to end so we can just get out there and enjoy the summer.
You're right. We will get there. I keep saying soon enough, so we will get there. But like I said, Ken, thank you so much for sharing your time and your story through the Power Over Parkinson's POP profiles.
Excellent. Thank you.